Hello, everybody. If it's Wednesday, and guess what? It is here in the Eastern time zone by just 15 minutes. It's Warhammer. It must be time for another episode of Warhammer Weekly. Joining me, as always, both my co-hosts again, my one co-host and my other one co-host. What's up, Tyler? How you doing?
Good. I feel the most powerful here tonight. I'm very, very powerful night owl. Tom, I can already see it. You might struggle here, buddy.
Yeah, I'm
I
up
see it
at
in your
like
eyes.
I'm up at like 5 every morning with my kids right now, so it's gonna be great.
Yep.
I'm in this, Vince. I'm here for you, buddy.
I appreciate that. You really are, and I do appreciate that. Thank you both for being here at this unusual hour. I am also a night owl, so this is no big deal for me. But I am up very, 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 very early tomorrow as my I have a medical procedure quite early tomorrow morning, hence this show, because I will be unable to function, I suspect, for most of tomorrow. I am feeling better. I will feel much better once I'm done with that surgery tomorrow. But we'll go from there. Hence the unusual time for the show. But thank you all for everybody who reached out and all the well wishes and everything. I haven't went back and watched last week's show. I'm afraid I would be horrified by what I saw with me being just completely gone. This week we're going to talk about Battle Scroll. We're going to get into the Battle Scroll, talk about everything related to it, FAQs and all of that. But first off, the news. Tyler, what do we got?
It's Rumor Engine looks like a 40K thing, or Tom, does this look like any Caradron thing you
No,
can think of?
it's not.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I literally moved hundreds of dwarf models today. I
Yeah.
assure you, it's not that design does not show up at all. Mufflers are not there.
Yeah, it's a 40K thing. Thank you. Next. Okay, oops, wrong picture.
Next, looks like we have a Champions of Sona Kickstarter.
Yeah, I'll talk about that one. So Squidmar launched his Champions of Sona Kickstarter. He gave me a chance to paint one of the models for it. I'm pretty sure that I ended up painting the same one that Arnau Lazarou did, and Arnau is I don't know if I'm saying his name.
Quite
wrong.
a match.
Yeah, indeed. And I apologize, Arnau, if I'm saying your name wrong in any way, because I'm bad at pronunciations in general. Please know that I have nothing but the utmost respect for you as truly one of the greatest painters in the world. He is maybe my favorite painter, it was great. His model is certainly a better version than mine, but I was very proud of what I was able to do for it. So, but the Kickstarter is super awesome. I love the figs that Squiddy's launching. I just think he did an amazing job with the entire range. It's basically like 3 elves, 3 orcs, 3 humans. They're all in 75 millimeter scale. The world that he sort of set all these in is super cool. Like the elves are bionic and like half they've like cybernetic themselves out, and now it hurts them because they can't evolve or adapt anymore. All that kind of stuff. Like, it's just neat stuff. I like that. I like when we blend, sort of science fiction fantasy together. So check it out. Yeah, it's super cool. I'll link it down in the description. But the Kickstarter for it. But the sculpts are they're amazing. They blew my mind when mine show up. It was an absolute pleasure to paint. So there you go. All right, next up.
Yeah, so we got Sunday the preview, Slaves of Darkness box, plus the Ogre Battle Tome is on its way, which is fantastic to see. So they included a note about how the War Scroll cards are apparently only going to be available for a little while in this box set.
For the foreseeable future.
For the foreseeable future, that's what they said. The photo does include the full pack and what it would look like if you bought it separately. And then, yeah, awesome box set. So we should have all the rules, the final complete set of the rules, apart from what's leaked this weekend. Yeah, guys, I've got a couple more games in against and with this battle tome. It's a hell of a battle tome. It's exciting, and I'm really hoping that they've done a good job with this Ogre's battle tome. This is a good test.
I'm very excited about both of them. They did also mention in the article that there is a error or something in the printing. Like this was in the the little jokey footnotes they often put in that people skip. This one was a real footnote. There was some kind of error in the printing that will get corrected. They said Saturday when it goes up for pre-order. So
cool. So we got a Vanguard box for Ogre Mod Tribes as well. Looks like Gluttons and some Lead Belchers, an Iron Blaster, a Tyrant.
I mean, the new
Yeah.
hotness. You had me at Gluttons. I mean, we saw that. We saw the preview on the website.
Oh, yeah.
They said 2-inch reach. They said Rend Neg 1.
That's
I
gonna be
was
scary.
like, I don't know why are we talking about any other model? Age of the Glutton is upon us. You know, the probably Bounty Hunters is going away soon. The Age of the Glutton has dawned. So there we go. I'm stoked. It's great. I mean, like, this has been the early part of the year was just there's a lot of tomes that came out that I just could not have cared less about. Idneth, I sleep. Fire Slayers, I sleep. Just over and over again, all this stuff. Now, this part of the year, Suns, Ogres, S2D. Woof. This is just bomb after bomb we're dropping here. It's great. I'm excited.
Yep, good stuff. And then Silnath is getting a Vanguard box as well. Lord, which of course you could do Durthu or Shield Ancient. 3 Karnoth, which you can make one of the 3, and then 5 True Revs plus Branch Witch. So pretty easy to build a Silnath army, get to 2,000 points very quickly based on that box alone. And then a Sense of Babe.
That's just the army.
Right. Yep. And then finally, Sense of Bahamut War Scroll cards are also coming out. I had missed that. I didn't realize that they apparently had not been released yet.
You
Why?
mean all 4?
Well, it's 5 now. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's 5. Yes.
Like, they're 5, and they made them so, you know, basically
Sure.
2 of the profiles on 4 of the 5 giants are identical now because they all have the same stomp, and Almighty Stomp and Death Grip. They all have the exact same rules, exact same everything, right? The only difference is the main weapon. And even the wheel profile is basically the same on all of them. The only difference you have to remember is the Smash is 1 higher bravery, and King Broad is 1 higher than that, and 5 more wounds. Like, that's it. But
Maybe it's
cool.
the
It's fine.
thickest
People love
card
War
stock.
Scroll cards. That's what I learned.
Thickest card stock known to man. Special edition. Here we go.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's just like it's like a pack that's that thick.
Yeah.
I mean, every one of them is going to be one of the flip book style, which I hate the flip book style cards. That's the issue with it for me. Like, I love the War Scroll cards when it's one side and you can just like flip through for the simple units, you know. But whenever I gotta open the book, I'm like, what am I even doing here? This is ridiculous.
Good. I think that's it.
Yeah. As mentioned, yes, registration for Holy Wars also open today. Holy Wars GT at gmail.com in the end of January if you want to come to another Holy event, which is awesome. Those are great events. Send in, register, or check out the site, etc. Okay, cool. Very good. Hit that up. Gentlemen, let's keep it moving. Let's do some pick of the week. Tyler, what do you want to share with everybody?
Okay, just because we're on a clock, 1 pick. How about that, Tom?
Yep.
Hammer of War battle report. Mentioned in a while. David and company over there, great work. They had a new battle report, enjoyed a lot. New Lumineth, new Slaves of Darkness. Very interesting. Might feature a cow. Might be seeing a lot of cows.
I'm sure we're all going to see a lot of cows, yes. Alarith, or what's his name, Avalonorn, whatever he is, yeah. He certainly woke up and is suddenly going to be around a lot. That guy. Cool.
Had our first 5-0 over the weekend. Teclis, Eleanor, Stone Mage, 2x10, Stone Guard, 10 Wardens, Rune of Petrifaction, Portal. There you go.
Seems right to me. You don't need many units when all your units do good. Do good things. Be good, do good. Yeah. All right. Tom, what's your pick?
I don't have a pick.
I'm gonna give a pick for you then, because I got 2. You ready?
Thanks.
Here's your pick.
Do it.
Your pick is our good buddies over at Rerolling Ones, who brought Brent back, as well as a spooky special guest, which I will not give away here. No spoilers. For a 4-way Triumph and Treachery game in honor of Halloween, wherein they punish themselves in the worst way I can think possible. So they all played these like smaller death forces. It was one of each of the death forces, like a Flesh Eater's, a Night Haunt, a Soul Blight, you know, and so on.
Yep.
Right. And everybody, an OBR. And so everybody was different death. And in the middle of the table was like Nagash. He wasn't actually there and alive. He was just like a statue of Nagash.
Yep.
And around Nagash, they had piled like candy corn and those, those little orange gross pumpkins. You know what I'm talking about? They're
I do.
Okay, they're like big, fat, gross pumpkins, but they're like, they're like that, but they're like candy. And there's like you could sort of supplicate to Nagash, and that could like hurt your unit or grab a bonus, and in various ways you had to eat the candy. And everybody was praying to Nagash the whole time, every unit, and they were eating so much of that terrible candy. Awful,
amazing.
awful. But it was a very fun game, so check it out. My other pick of the week for myself is to Scott and John over on the Trapped Under Plastic podcast. Great podcast that came out yesterday around miniature painting, and it was Is Getting Good Actually Bad? And the reason I loved this episode so much was because it dealt with something I've heard a lot that I myself have struggled with, that as you sort of increase your skill in the as your ability to paint increases, you will hit this point where you know what you're doing wrong, but you're not sure how to fix it or how to make it look better in all cases, and it will make you angry. And you're like, you know enough to know why you're bad, but not necessarily how to fix what you're doing bad, if sort of, kind of thing. As well as then not feeling like you don't know how, you haven't really fully developed your speed muscle yet, so you're not getting to the good enough place in a quick enough time, and just how do you deal with all that? And I just thought it was a really great discussion of it. So I liked that episode a lot. So check it out.
Great.
Cool.
As you mentioned, reroll ones. I came home tonight to a box from One Shoe from rerolling ones. I don't know what's in this box.
Watch out! It might be an assassin. I'm just warning you.
Could be.
Like he is known to send those. That's all I will say.
We're not going to get a live unboxing. I don't know. Okay.
Maybe I could do that. I have to find a.
Watch it. There might be an assassin in there.
Sure.
Better not be a painted army. I already had one of those, and it's acquired enough guilt and consternation from that for a lifetime.
And I agree, Gareth. It is the situation, I think, with a lot of skills where that same skill curve, I think, happens with a lot of things. All right. Well, while Tyler's seeing if we can open the box, let's move on to some hobby time. Tom, hobby time. Let's start with you. I mean, you mentioned you were unpacking like 7,000 points of dwarves. That's, I assume, part of your hobby time.
Yeah. So I have been in boxes after my move last year, and I finally decided I needed a more permanent storage solution that was going to be flexible. I went with this brand of box called Really Useful Box.
Really useful box, okay.
Yep. And they all stack. And so there's like the perfect heights for like, there's like a 32 liter and a 17 liter and 11 liter, and they all stack like perfectly. And
what's a liter?
I don't know. Okay. A volume measurement. There you
sure.
go. And
I'll take a liter of cola.
They're British boxes. And and so like I've been cutting steel sheets and
sure.
like wrapping the edges in tape and in like electrical tape and like rounding everything off and making it nice and all that. And I've done 18 boxes, like 18 Tupperware containers that I've basically filled already. And I'm still unpacking army boxes. Like I'm still unpacking painted models.
Sure.
So, but they're all good. And then I've been like gluing and fixing up along the way. And somewhere in the middle of that, I also put together some models for a commission that I'm working on, and built some more of my models that I've been super stoked about. And let me just say, for anybody out there that's running Night Haunt and running heavy Blade Geist Revenants, any win you get, you deserve it. Because putting those models together is the worst. I started putting some of mine together, and I just I hate it. I've put a lot of model Night Haunt together. I have like three of those 18 boxes are Night Haunt, and it's a pain. Like those models are truly a pain. Like they rival Spirit Hosts for a paint.
Wow.
So congratulations for those of you that built 40 to 60 of them.
Okay.
I might make it to 20, maybe.
Okay. Well, my hobby time has been spent mainly making videos because I needed to get a bunch of videos made because I don't know after tomorrow how long it's going to be before I'm able to sit down and record videos again. I was worried about that. So I worked myself to get back up to a good number of stuff in the production pipeline. But I also managed to assemble my last Mega Gargant. He's all converted here. Let's bring him up. Bum, 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 bum. There he is.
Sexy.
The king is here.
Whoa. Hell of a weapon.
I like his mini arms.
Yes, indeed. He has tiny little mini arms, as you can see. He's a little four-armed king broad. He's got a nice little grabby claw, and so he can grab people and body slam them with the big grabby arm, big grabby claws. Yeah, so there's King Broad, my version of him at least. He's got his little crown with his horns and stuff. So I'm excited about that guy. Get some paint on him as soon as I can, whenever I can sit down again and paint. So yeah, that dude was super, super fun to kit bash. Like, truly my great joy with working with Sons of Behemoth is that you can just like go nuts with conversions. You can just have just a wild old time. And I love that they made all of the pieces and parts the exact same size for the Imperial Knights as they did for Mega Gargants. Like, their legs are the exact same height with the exact same two bends.
Yeah.
Their arms are the exact same length. It's just, they're working in 1-to-1 scale. So it's really easy to, like, it's just really easy to swap parts around and stuff like that, which is awesome.
Yes.
All right, Tyler, do we know what's in the box? What's in the box?
Shu.
Hopefully not Gwyneth Paltrow.
Ton of Stormcast. So
Okay.
I'm gonna need Games Workshop. Make some point drops. The classic sequiturs, evocators. Maybe just doing a clear out. We got like 9 castigators here, fellas.
Oh, I mean, there's cash money there. So here's the question: is there an assassin in the box?
I haven't located one yet.
Okay, just be
I
careful.
haven't gotten all the way through yet. Yeah.
They jump out of things. I'm just warning you.
Very nice. Tyler, did you get anything painted this week at all?
I have not. I've been playing TTS. I actually got to the store tonight for the first time, hobbling around, so that was nice.
Nice.
But got a game in. Yeah, Slaves. 4+ rally. Pretty good, gentlemen. If you're not turning it off, who knew? Got back 14 Chaos Warriors. One game. That seems reasonable. And yeah, it's a hell of an army. Yeah, you know what? The main thing in that book right now that I'm worried about is the rally. So far, everything else has felt okay.
I mean, it'll probably be fine.
I hope so.
Like, it'll probably be fine.
If it works for Doc. So hey, there you go.
Yeah, and I mean it does work for Fire Slayers, and that's like an unmitigated, like anything in the army. Now they only have 3 real units, but anyways.
Sure. All right, cool. Well, gentlemen, let's get to the topic at hand then, shall we? Which is Battle Scroll. And I thought first we would start with this picture, which is from the MetaWatch article that introduced the Battle Scroll and gives us a new picture of the win rates. Things to notice is that we've got more people pushing up out of the area up into the danger zone on the top. And in the article, they said that that's pretty traceable to the Incarnate. The Incarnate's inclusion in Disciples of Tzeentch and Daughters of Cain. Like it's very easy for them to sort of regress the lists that were winners versus the lists that weren't. And, like the Incarnate was clearly doing a lot of heavy lifting there, right? Beasts continues its absolutely crazy run, being the most broken army in the game. Boy, what a turnaround story there. And then Maggotkin as well being quite strong, and then Sons and Bone Splitters and Seraphon all on the line, all strong armies. But obviously none of this figures in the new Sons book, so we'll have to see what happens there, and they mention that. So that's the world we live in. Still the same basic people down at the bottom, falling out the bottom of the list. Shout out to Gloomspite, getting up to 45%. Way to go, guys. I assume the Incarnate probably brought them up those percentage points as well. But yeah.
Gets AAK Trogs.
Yeah, indeed. But of course, Cruel Boys, Bone Reapers, Ogres, S2D, and Hedonites all down in the very bottom part. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Ogres and S2D sit on the precipice of a new book, so we hope to see them brought, up out of that no man's land, the sad zone, I guess we'll call it, very soon. We can only hope. That'll leave us down there with the books that we're just gonna apparently be like, yeah, you're fine, just stay down there, just stay down there. Slaanesh, Bone Reapers, and Cruel Boys, apparently the three armies that were just like, yeah, whatever. Just, I guess no one cares about you.
It's funny, because I'm starting collections of 2 of those.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we had our, as we mentioned last week, we had our good buddy win basically a Cruel Boys army, so.
Right. Between the 3 of us, we're just bringing up the bottom.
Like if you want to feel like you got them wins, like you've earned them. I'm just saying. Okay. So that's our sort of picture of our world. This is obviously the rolling 60 day. We'll see a lot how this looks next time it gets published, sort of the next 60 days from now. And that'll have some of the new stuff from Ogres and some of the new stuff from S2D in there and things like that. So we'll see how that goes. The Grayest of Sun says Corn at 50%. Oh yeah. Corn is for real since they changed Blood Tithe. It all got very real very fast with the Blood Tithe change. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump over here to the battle scroll itself, shall we? So, October 2022 battle scroll changes in magenta. They also clarified the battle scroll process in that they will be rolling, and what stays will stay, so it's always sort of current. We're not messing around with things like the hunt anymore. That's gone. Good. We don't miss you. And instead, we just keep the abilities rolling here until they roll off because, whatever, because a book comes out or some other thing changes them, a white dwarf or whatever. Okay. So let's go through. First off, they just reprinted the Purple Sun of Shaiish. We talked about this before. This was a previous change a while back. Everybody seems happy with it. I'm happy with it. The world is a better place now. Post this change. Cool.
I mean, it's fine.
Sure. It's good. It's the correct change. They mentioned that it's actually still included in like 15% of lists, so it's still busting their target goal from their 3 principles.
What's the meta for Night Haunt? Is it like 8% or something like that? 6%?
I didn't see a meta percentage in the thing, so I don't know. Who knows?
Well, I'll put money that whatever percentage of the Night Haunt lists that are out there, all of them have
a lot of them still run Purple Sun. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
When you're immune to the basically the entire thing now, because it's pretty easy to make sure you don't keep your guys within an inch. You're rock and roll, right?
Right. It's just pure money.
Yes. I agree with Ghost Mutton and Gareth, who said you should also watch the Associated Battle Scroll design interview for insights. Totally agreed. It's a very, very good interview. Okay, so let's talk about our actual changes here. First off, Beasts of Chaos. The Primal Roar being changed to on a 3+, you receive 1 Primordial Call Point. So no more D3s. No more D3s.
Keeping it a little on 6s. Yeah.
Yep. So still around.
That's probably fine.
I always hate things like that anyways. Like, I just wish they wouldn't write rules like that, where it's like, I hate anything where it's like, on a this or this, nothing happens. On a this plus something happens. On a this plus something happens. Right? Because that just is like a really annoying way to sort of construct a rule that you have to remember 3 different situations with just a die roll. Yep. Pass or fail, man. Just pass or fail. Okay, can we just keep it simple here? Did I hit or did I miss? Did I wound or not? Did I save or not?
Or pass, or really pass.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Bartek says, as a BOC player, I prefer they just deleted the 4+ rally instead. It's just not thematic. 4+ rally in general should be death only. Bartek, I agree with you. I hope that 4+ rally goes away. I think it's obviously way too good.
I don't know. I kind of want it on Zangor. Go
sure.
on. And Skyfires.
Sure. I'd like to see it go away. Just, I think, yeah, the rally is a whole separate conversation. We'll probably do a Proud Nails episode sometime before the end of the year, and boy oh boy is rally going to be in my list. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. We got a little change for our cruel boys. Let's see if this can help them out. Poisons and elixirs on your Swamp Kala Shaman with Pot Grot. And that is, you delete the text that says, instead of attempting to dispel an endless spell or cast any spells with this unit in that phase. Lordy, lordy, what a great change. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Your spellcaster can actually, like, give his boys the juice and still actually be a spellcaster. What a wonderful world. We've only learned this lesson 5 times, that it's terrible to make people choose between, when you're a spellcaster, choose between casting spells and doing something else. And, you know, there was a point in time where I was a big fan of that sort of mechanic, that sort of cost-benefit mechanic. I'm just not. Over time, watching how it works, it's way too costly, is what it boils down to, because of what you pay for the spellcaster premium. It just doesn't work in the game.
Yep. You're already paying to bring the spellcaster, and then now you're paying to not use them.
Right, exactly. If it was, there are probably other things you could still execute that on and have it be of some value. Like, don't do a thing and then you get a bonus. Like, there's probably some things you could do that on. Like, for example, I could easily see them writing a monster where it's like, if this monster doesn't do a monster's rampage, then instead it gets this other thing that happens, right?
Yep.
Because the monster, that wasn't the whole point of his purpose, was to do the monster's rampage, right? Like, he moved around, he counts as 5 on an objective, he hopefully does some amount of damage, you know what I'm saying? Like, he can still fight, like, there's points that he's still making for your team in the general sort of addition of things. But this is like, you brought that spellcaster, that's their only point. It's that. So, good change.
I feel like we don't have many. I can't think of any other example of this kind of design in the game, this kind of opportunity cost. I'm sure there are. If anybody can think of any, I'd be curious.
Well, I mean, there's other things like that play with opportunity cost. I mean, we just mentioned Khorne. Khorne's Blood Tithe is a good example of that, right? I can use it to auto-dispel a spell or summon somebody, right?
I mean, anytime you have a deep strike, and I know this sounds silly, you're choosing to deep strike rather than move. And you think, oh, well, that's an obvious, like, it's better mobility for the deep strike. Like, I think about things like the Black Coach and stuff like that.
Sure.
But the reality is that, like, when you do that, you set your charge to 9 rather than, like, moving up for 3-inch charges, which is, like, a really big deal. Like, and so, like, this was my critique of the new Black Coach and why it was completely unwarranted for the points, is because before, one of its primary utilities was to move 22 inches and, like, jump into a pocket and then charge something, you know, like, that needed to be removed. And so it had this, like, very unique strategic, like, scalpel purpose for this huge chariot. It could do something nothing else in the army could do. Well,
and now it doesn't do anything, and you never see it on lists. Yeah,
it doesn't do anything. Right. And so,
yeah, it's interesting because 2 of the Chaos Gods have those opportunity cost summoning mechanics now, which is Slaanesh and Khorne.
Yeah.
Right, because Slaanesh, if you just sit there and don't summon anything, you get, like, minor bonuses to your whole army effectively. And Khorne, obviously, you burn points for either an effect or a summon, right? Whereas Nurgle and Tzeentch, their summon mechanics are, hey, did you want to do the thing you wanted to do? Well, do it, buddy. Just do it hard and do it more.
And get free models.
Yeah, and get free models for doing the thing you were already doing anyways, right? Yeah. So, interesting.
As we were talking, the Enlightened, where I don't know how it works now, but you had to wait to activate.
Oh, sure.
After.
Yeah, now it's just if you go second in the battle round, you get a bonus.
Yeah, I was trying to think of, like, more of those directly correlated trade-offs. on
Yeah.
War Scrolls. But anyway, it was kind of
I
interesting
mean,
to think about.
hex rates have that right now. Like you can double your movement, but when you do,
But then you can't
charge.
attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd
Yep.
be kind of interested in finding as many examples of those as possible. I'm just curious how much they've explored that space.
Yeah.
I think you're right though. Yeah, it could be easily go wrong with it.
Yeah, because the key is that you've got to really make sure that you don't make the unit not function in the way it's supposed to for what should be just some kind of basic buff utility. All right, moving on to Gloom Spite Gits. Add the following to the notes section of the Arachnarok Spider with Spider Fang War Party pitch battle profile. Battle line if the general is Spider Fang. We did it, boys. We got there.
Damn it, that was going to be my line. We got there. Finally. 5 years later.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's literally
Battle
5 years
line
you've been asking.
or Ragnaroks.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. I mean, it's not really going to help the army. Like
No,
the-
but it's
the-
amazing.
That's the
Yeah, the 10-point reduction on the riders is actually a way bigger deal
Sure.
than the battle line or Ragnarok. But you know what? I'll take it.
It's still cool. It's still cool that you can make, and that is the correct one, by the way, to be the battle line is the one with
Yes.
the War Party.
Yeah, it didn't have a purpose previously, and so now it has purpose.
Yep. I still submit that the other fun thing they should absolutely write onto the Arachnarok with War Party is that it should count as 13 models on an objective.
Right.
Like 5
Right,
for the
of course.
spider and 8 for the goblins.
8 for the goblins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you put 8 models on the Howdah. Yes, it should.
Absolutely. So I would, but I'm super thrilled about this. This is a fantastic change. Like A+. Yes.
Like, do you know how many
players
Arachnaroks-
were just read this and were so thrilled, right? People who love that,
like all 5 of us, but you know what? I'm okay with it.
but that's like a 10 on enjoyment scale for all those players. Like really, this is like the direct overlap of people, the Timmies who like spiders and wanted to run these giant monsters. Like this was a complete overlap of the two circles, right? Okay.
Yeah, and what did they move the points to on them? They're like
We're
one.
going to jump to the points.
Yeah, okay.
Right now. All right, let's talk points because we got a lot of points changes. We'll talk about these and say what do we think can actually move the needle versus just like okay, that's cool, right?
Yep.
Cities of Sigmar, Charybdis 130, down 20 points. War Hydra 145, down 20 points. Dreadlord on Black Dragon 255, down 20 points. Sorceress on Black Dragon 260, down 20 points. Executioners 110, down 20 points. Okay. Do any of these move the needle on Cities of Sigmar?
I mean, I remember looking at the first 2 earlier in the year.
Yeah,
And
they're both terrible.
it was horrifying how bad those War Scrolls were. So Charybdis and War Hydra. So probably not there. The Executioners are
Yep. And the
Notable.
sorceress. Yep.
yeah, because the Executioners are they doing mortals on 6s to hit or 6s?
They are.
to wound?
They are.
They are it's
Sixes
sixes to
to hit.
hit.
Yeah.
But it's
And
no
it's-
longer
and then-
in addition. That's the problem. Some of the
Okay.
other models
Yeah.
have an in addition clause. They have a just and the attack
Yeah.
sequence ends.
Yeah, 2 attacks each, 3s, 110. They can be battle line. Battle line if general is Darkling Coven. Yeah, Bonds of Battle, 25 mils. 25 mils. Not bad. I could see some people get 4 base save. That's interesting. I don't hate that.
Yeah, I think at 110, they're interesting. I'm not sure any of this moves the needle. Like the ultimate answer, I'll answer my own question. No, I
Well,
don't think this moves the needle.
And
But
the executioners have run in charge. Don't forget with
Sure.
with their support.
yeah, not alone, but yes, they can. I think it's to me what it opens up some new fun lists people will enjoy, but it doesn't move the needle on any win rate
Sure.
or competitiveness. But that's okay. I do think it does open the door for some lists, especially on the executioners because you will tend to take that multiple times, so that 20 points might actually end up like being 60 to 100 in a list or something like that, right? Whereas the Dreadlord, it's like, yeah, okay, cool, he's fine, but like I don't know that he was pretty bad at 275. I'm not sure he's like a sudden winner at 255, right? And in the end, it's 20 points in your list. All right, Seraphon. Engine of the Gods, up 20 to 285. Lord Croak, up 20 to 450. Saurus Astalith Banner Bearer, up 15 to 155. Skink Priest, up 30 to 120. Slan Starmaster, up 20 to 285. And then the Old Blood on Carnosaur, down 20. And the Skink Oracle on Troglodon, down 20. You love to see it. Okay, Seraphon, obviously 2 winning, 2 good. Just needs a new book that decomplexifies all of the madness that's in that book right now. You have to have like a Slan brain, Starmaster brain to play that army to remember all your buffs. Okay, does this move the needle?
Like, you're basically giving up 1 unit, maybe, from the modifications. Like assuming you take 3 to 4 of these in a list, you're going to basically have to remove 1
unit
or 1 reinforcement.
Yeah, the plus 30 on the Skink Priest is my favorite change. We finally got this little moron pointed somewhere reasonably to where he should be.
He's been going up for a while, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at a number of top placing lists, and it was anywhere from, without the Kron Spine, with the Kron Spine, obviously a big jump, 70 to 115 points is what I was commonly seeing. Maybe around 90, 100 points increase. I think that's about right in my mind for where Seraphon is right now. Maybe that feels about right to me.
Yeah.
The Pacific Northwest Masters 5-0 Thunder Lizard went up 170 points, 90 from Seraphon and 80 from Kron Spine. I thought that was interesting. That's a pretty big increase.
Yeah, there you go. I think this absolutely moves the needle is my answer. I think this is worth like at least 2 to 3 percentage points on their win rate. Honest answer.
I think it'll have an impact.
Yeah.
I would like to think so. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm skeptical.
Okay. I mean, it's not moves, that's for sure. I mean,
Right.
It's the engine is still quite good at 285, but it's it is what it is. Okay.
There's some sensitive Seraphon players out there.
Oh, sure.
That's I don't think we've said anything unreasonable on this show the past few weeks.
No, just delete them. It's fine.
Yeah.
Stormcast Eternals. Vanquishers down 15. Aventus Firestrike down 40. The Knight Relictor down 20. Yndrasta down 40. Karzai and Krondus both down 50. Annihilators down 20. Praetors down 20. Vigilors down 25. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what matters out of this? Will this move the needle?
I think so. Well, we're certainly going to see more experimentation with these pieces.
That's a unit. A unit's like a bonus unit in your Stormcast list, right, Vince?
Oh yeah, in my list, yeah, I gained a bunch of points. Sure, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I love the regular Shield Annihilators going down to 180 is great. I think that's a great change. Krondus and Karzai going down 50 points to 550 feels correct. I could see them go a little lower, but I'm happy at the current move. I think they could go even a little lower. They're both still quite fragile models for their size is the issue.
Yep.
Like if they had even a 6-up ward, like kind of built-in base, I'd be more supportive of their current points. But I'm happy they're down 50.
I do find, to me, Karazai has stood out, guys, over this year as one of those models where I think if more good players, like Vince, you ran Karazai, you did well with him.
Yep.
If more good players had ran him, we may have seen that he wasn't too bad at all. He's very playable at 600. I do think there is a difference between him and Krondus in terms of the value. Like, I think there's just more raw value, all else equal, in Karazai in my mind. But like Joel McGrath, I think, or as always, I get Joel Graham and McGrath confused. One of the Joels, they've been doing very well with the defensive Karazai build. Where you have like Praetors and the double, etc. So double Relictor. But yeah, so I think that's a bit of an oddity in like the data. But yeah, these are meaningful changes. Like all of these are good changes.
Okay, could Vanquishers be worth experimenting with at 110? Have we gotten down to the point where these guys might actually be worth it?
I think so. Tom, I'm curious your thoughts on this because, well, number one, they have a 5-up rally.
They do have a
Now,
built-in 5-up rally.
that's quite meaningful. Just in terms of um, opportunity cost. You don't want to leave 2 left who then retreat and then rally back 4 or 5, whatever it might be, and then 3, 4. And they do. I actually just played them today. I played a unit of 10. They got double activated on by 3 Vanguard. They got taken out even though I double stacked them. They were on a 3+ base save, but it's just too many attacks, right? That was okay. I mean, I don't mind losing 220 points to entice 3 Vanguard. I think they're at a point level, yeah, where they're going to see some play. I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on what the new season looks like and if they're going to have any value there. Yeah, no, I like him. And I could see even a unit of 15, again, for the 5-up rally.
Sure. Now I'll say this, Tom. Matthew Sweeney was back in Vanquishers. So
Yeah, I don't hate Vanquishers if I'm being honest. Like I love the model.
sure. I mean, they're a gorgeous model, obvi.
And I was trying to find a way to fit them into my lists. And so I don't think that the rally is I don't know.
It's not amazing, right? But maybe
Right.
especially if you're looking at 15. Here, real quickly, the list I played tonight. Obviously, Prime. Every Stormcast list I got to Prime in it. Prime, Lord Relictor, Lord Castellan, because still safe stacking is valuable in Stormcast. And then 2x5 libs with Call for Raid, experts, both of those, so equivalent of 15 bodies there. And then 10 Vanquishers, plus 5 Vigilors, trying those out. 2 Fulminators, 10 Protectors, and 3 Birds. Now, I think in terms of a more balanced list, those 2 Fulminators should be 3 Long Strikes, go Thunderbolt Volley. Long Strikes, Thunderbolt Volley, 5 Vigilors, plus 10 Protectors, save stacking, Lord Castellan, 2x5 libs, 10 Vanquishers in Expert Conquers. That's 30 bodies. Maybe, I don't know, let's see what the new battalions look like. Like, I like that list. To me, that's a stronger list than I've been playing this year with Stormcast.
The 170 for the Vigilors also is getting them down to a place where they're starting to get interesting. Right? Yeah. So I don't know if this moves the needle on a win rate in any way. I'm not sure about that, but I will say this does start to open up some more list potential for sure. Like we're pushing a little bit on internal balance here. I think Yndrasta doesn't have a play even at 280 just because she's just outpunched by her 2 300-point brethren. That's the issue. She doesn't have the same role that the other two have. Right? The other two just clearly do something. So,
well, the key is like if you include her, you still need to include one of those other 2.
Yeah, she's not lifting enough weight on her own. So
right.
I feel similar with Aventus, unfortunately. I tried him out last week, and he just, he doesn't get there with the damage output unless he's going after chaff or something, right?
Sure.
And you don't have meaningful bonuses to cast in Stormcast, so, you're not really pushing out endless spells reliably, and he can't even take Master Magic because he's unique characters. Yeah, I still don't think he's going to see that much play, but he's a little more enticing now. Let's hope that they focus on Sacrosanct next. I mean, I would have liked, obviously, they could add a long ass list of Stormcast here. There's so many words.
You just extend this column all the way down here,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, why not? Yeah.
All right. Beasts of Chaos, the Cockatrice up 15 points to 110. The Dragon Ogres up 20 to 145, and that's it. Is this enough of a change to take them down the point combined with the Primal Roar change? Is this enough to knock them off their pedestal?
I mean, honestly, what do you know what needs to happen? No, it's not. Because we need an errata to the Herdstone to make Rally be keyworded to Brayherd.
Sure, so it just doesn't bring back Dragon Ogres and things of that nature.
Right. Yeah. If you just did Brayherd, most of the egregious uses of that 4+ Rally would be gone.
Yeah. I was looking at, I think it was Matt Nguyen's 5-0 list from a couple weekends ago. He didn't even have any of the Dragon Ogres. I don't even get any Cockatrice in that list. 30 Zangors. with the new Zangors, like amazing, and Beast of Chaos.
Yeah.
Skyfires,
I mean-
Enlightened, like
I mean, that's my list. Like I
Yeah.
may have a lot of Zangor on the way. Like
Yeah, I mean-
that may have happened.
I tend to agree. I think this might shave him a percentage, maybe 2, maybe 2.5, 3 at most. At most, the problem is they're way out of bounds right now. Right, they are the most out of bounds army right now. There are last army that's hitting above 60%. That's truly outside of like even the wide bounds.
It's no old school Doc or Slanesh, but
Sure. But they're our current most broken, and I just don't think we went hard enough in the paint here. I really don't. Okay. Heed Knights of Slanesh, one of the bottom armies.
Oof.
Daemonettes down 20 points to 110. Glutos down 30 points to 440. Fiends down 20 points to 175. And Slangor Fiend Bloods down 20 points to 110. Let me go ahead and just answer the question. Will this change anything? No. Next. The foundation of 3 out of those 4 units are trash. Daemonettes, Fiends, and Slangor Fiend Bloods are trash. Complete and total trash.
They just need War Scroll rewrites.
Right. Like I wish I could be here telling you something else. But like role-less, functionless units, you can't. There is no right point value for them. The Glutos thing is nice. Like Glutos is fine. He does stuff. I'm okay with him. So saving 30 points on him is cool. You know what I mean? But he's such an investment in the army. The problem is it's like he is a good scroll. So is like Sigvald. End of list.
I like the archers. I like the archers.
I know. I'm just messing around.
Yeah.
So I mean, what I'll say is this for Daemonettes, like they just need Rend. If they had Rend, this would be with their huge ass claws, right?
I mean, they're Rend 1. You mean more than Rend 1. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I know.
And I know it sounds egregious to give them Rend 2, but
as I said many times in 40k, 6 to hit make them Rend 4.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, I still like the double triple tapping, but I don't know. Like, I'll say this: I like Daemonettes. I know you think I'm insane.
Yeah, they're bad.
I like Daemonettes as a counter-charging unit.
Sure.
But they explode to a stiff breeze.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
They have absolutely no toughness whatsoever, unless you can somehow race yourself to like 18 depravity points, and give them a 5 upward. That's it.
Right.
In which case, there's probably better stuff you could have been doing to actually get there, like have some Blissbarb archers who are peppering stuff around, or seekers, or whatever. So.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I think the play has to be the Blissbarb on the front, and then when they get charged, you countercharge with your Daemonettes.
Sure.
But
Maggot Kin of Nurgle, another out of bounds on the overperforming army side. Let's look at what we got here. Plus 20 to the Lord of Afflictions. Plus 20 to Bloab. Plus 20 to Orgots. How those two weren't already 320 is a mystery to me.
Yeah. Too good.
Like they're so strong at 300. They're so strong at 320. I don't think that'll impact anybody taking Orgots at all. Nor Bloab. The Blight Lords up 30 points to 250. Obviously the major offenders. And then the single is plus 15 basically. So okay.
I think Emma said that she was like 250 points over for the US Kansas
KC
City.
Open. Yeah.
Amazing.
Congrats, Emma, on the 5-0 with your clearly illegal list.
Right.
It's fine.
I think this is the right change. The Flies and the Lord of Afflictions, and like they identified exactly the correct units. These all feel like a good first start. That's like they could have gone harder. Yep. Maybe in the end we'll need to go harder. But this was the right way to start. None of these feel egregious. They feel correct. Like,
so one asterisk on that.
Sure.
My initial thought was I would have liked to have seen a change to Drown Men itself. Some limitation on the number of flies that you can do the pregame move with.
Sure.
You could go in a number of directions with that, right? Set a cap or half the number. That way, you're less punishing to combined arms, mixed arms, variety pack list.
No, it's a good point.
Which course,
I like that as well. Yeah.
I ran. Yeah. So my list, guys, Ashcon list had a lot of these offenders. Lord Afflictions, Blowab, Orgots, 2x10 Plague Bearers, Blight Kings, 2 Blight Lords, 3 Plague Drones, Mind Stealer. I might be forgetting something. Oh, and a single Blight Lord. I lost the single Blight Lord. He was like, he's a nice to have. That seems very fair to me. How good Nurgle has been, how good that list was.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, good point. I like it. Yeah.
What do you think about so Blight Kings 250, Blight Lords 250? Okay. I'm having that debate in my head. Like,
it's fine.
Should Blight Kings be cheaper? They should be cheaper. They damn well shouldn't be much cheaper because they're really good too.
No, I mean, they're a lot of wounds, a lot of meat, right? Still on a 4-up, 5-up, just like their big brethren. They're obviously slower.
Right.
But they do put out a lot more attacks. They also, I mean, I think it has to do a lot with season as much as anything, because what I mean there is like, Blight Kings are really, really scary if there's a lot of 1 and 2 wound infantry out in the meta, right? Because then they can all swish on them and cause a lot of extra mortal wounds, and that end of combat swishing is nothing to be sneezed at, right? There just hasn't been a lot of that particular thing for them to hunt around.
Well, so, about it. Joking aside, Emma, if you're watching, congrats. She got what she deserved. She had a mirror match. She played a Blight Lord spam list like round 4, and she beat it by like 2 points. And then she went and beat Sean Clark game 5.
Wow. I didn't know she played Sean. That's awesome. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, Skaven. Doomwheel, down 20. Deathmaster, down 20. Lord Screech, down 25. Corruptor, down 10. Warpseer, down 10. Vermintide, the very bad endless spell, down 20. You okay?
Hey, I don't hate Vermintide. Because it's another, like, it's a huge space blocker. And at 40 points, that's not bad. And it's pooping mortal wounds that you're immune to. So I don't hate that either, because it's every movement, not just when it moves. If you move near it, if you do any movement near it, it triggers mortals.
Yeah, it can do some board control. I like all these changes. The Doomwheel was clearly too expensive. The Deathmaster was clearly too expensive.
You know my favorite change here is?
What's that?
Lord Screech.
Yeah, sure.
I got a game in at my club this week with my Fire Slayers against a like an all-comers Skaven list running Screech, and he's tasty.
Yeah, sure.
So
no, I agree. Yeah. I don't think this. I agree with Gareth. I don't think this moves the needle on their win rate much. Like, maybe it's worth half a percentage point or 1 or something like that. Like, I don't think, like, not enough of these were doing any work to begin with. But that being said, I like all of this. It gives me more space in my list, which is good, because I often did use like some of these things. That is to say, I think the Warp Seer is just not used because of the way they changed because the Warp Seer is the one who's worth 2 Master Clan heroes.
Right.
Okay. And since they changed the command, the Master Clan thing that makes it so it's unmodified, like, he's out. I think the Corruptor does have some interesting applications, and at 350 he got real interesting. I agree with you on Screech. Deathmaster's fine. The problem with him is he's overshadowed by single Doomwheel into my list, just because it's fun, and so now I can have that fit in easier. So there you go. Okay, Flesh Eaters. The Terrorgeist and Royal Zombie Dragon, just the things, not with the guys on top, just the monsters. Both down 20. Okay.
Yawn.
Yeah, fine. I mean, probably a correct points change. They weren't actually outside of the bounds of the win rate where they needed to be. Like, they're in the 45 to 55 barrier. I think that's just like a correct points change. right?
Sure.
Bone Reapers, who are on the downside, minus 15 to the Crawler, minus 15 to the Harvester, minus 25 to the Immortus Guard, minus 25 to Morghast Archai, minus 20 to Morghast Harbingers, and minus 10 to Stalkers. Now, I would point out, we just saw a blender list full of Stalkers going straight ham, and now they got cheaper.
So guys, this is number one on my list for the 3.0. Certainly this season. For the longest time, I don't understand why our players haven't ran Stalkers. Like, good on Bill for running them and showing people what they can do. These things have been amazing for a while now. Like, from the beginning, look at that War Scroll and what it can do, particularly in Petrifex Elite. It never made any sense to me. And now you can make them a unit of 9 and Bonds of Battle, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's nuts. And now they got cheaper. You can do like 2x9 at the moment, easy in the list with a bunch of other crap.
Yep.
This is the biggest, one of the biggest, like, potentially impactful changes, at least depending on what the new season looks like. Yeah, that with these changes to OBR.
New book win. I do think this will have some meaningful impact on them. I think OBR, the biggest problem is people just haven't shifted their lists. Yeah, no, I agree.
Right. People are still wanting to run a bunch of
More Tech Guard.
Tech Guard.
Yeah.
All right.
Death Riders should have been on this list. Riders are 195.
Yeah, they could have come down like 15 as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Soul, Blight, Grave, Lords. The army with too many syllables and too few words. All right, Terrorgeist down 20. Zombie Dragon down 20. Basically matching what happened up in Flesh Eater Courts, right? The White King down 25. Keep going. The White King on Skeletal Steed down 20. Keep going. The Bloodseeker Palanquin down 20. Now that's a steal. Now that is a unit that I can get behind. And then Neferata down 20. Amazing. Neferata's good. Going down 20. That's actually a shocking move. The funny part about the Bloodseeker Palanquin, and Joe Pagano, credit to him for cottoning to this quite early on. He used this during NashCon. Is the Bloodseeker Palanquin... Wait, am I thinking of the right one? No, I'm not. Never mind. I don't care about that. Sorry, I was thinking of the Coven Throne.
You're thinking about the one, the +1 to everything.
I forgot that there's 3 of these things.
Yeah,
you're thinking about the Coven Throne.
I'm thinking of the Coven Throne.
Oh,
yeah,
it was like
because the Coven Throne can stutter Kronspine. Stutter, whatever the thing is. Where the other like it's only against one unit, and you just make them not fight. So you just pull up the Coven Throne into the Kronspine, and then it just doesn't fight.
Yeah.
It just sits there and does nothing, and it's a completely worthwhile trade because he can't retreat.
Right.
So he's just sitting there locked with this unit that he can never attack, and that unit's just like, okay, cool. What are we doing?
Yeah. Coven Throne's nice tech. I played against that quite a bit.
Yeah. So, but that's not the Bloodseeker Palanquin. I'm sorry, I forgot that they randomly created that one.
The Bloodseeker is more about buffing other vampires.
Yeah, I don't think it's playable. Now that I remember which one it is, I don't think it's any good at 250. The White Kings are both bad. The standalone monsters. Fun change for Avangori lists. So that's cool.
I mean, the Bloodseeker... I don't know. Maybe not.
I mean, if we get rid of... and I think Gareth is dead on here. If we get rid of bounty hunters and people want Graveguard to turn on into battle line, then maybe one of the White King guys becomes valuable. Because he's the thing that makes them go battle line.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem is right now that's a horrible drawback. Right? But, I mean, again, he himself doesn't really do anything. His abilities are bad. You would just be using him as like a throwaway general to turn that on.
Yeah.
So depending on what like the next battalions look like and how battle line works and stuff like that, he could see selection.
Sure.
I don't think this is going to move the needle around too much. This feels like an internal balance when cool. I have no big problems with it.
Bloodseeker Bloodseeker Palanquin, not very good.
No, it's bad. It's a very bad.
Yeah,
death
I
spell.
like it's a caster that needs to be a double caster and doesn't have any really good spells.
Yeah, is bad. Okay. Geats. Shooters down 20. Stabbers down 10. Mangler Squake, just the regular Mangler, not the with Loon Boss, down 25. Skitterstrand down 20. Dankhold Trog Boss down 20. Scragrot the Loon King down 20. Loon Boss on Mangler Squakes, this is the one with the guy on top, down 20. Web Spinner Shaman on a Ragnarok Spider down 20. Spider Riders down 10. Squig Herd down 20. Tom, I need to go get myself a new drink because this drink that I pulled out is bad. So I'll be just off camera for 2 seconds. I would like you to opine on Gloomspite Gets while I step away for just a quick second.
Yeah, sure. I think that so shooters and stabbers they've long needed to be ran in numbers, and so these reductions are multiplicative, meaning that you want to run packs of 40 and 60 stabbers, and so when you drop 10, that's 20 to 30 extra points in a list. Shooters in general weren't going to be ran in more than 20s, I don't think. So that's not too. I mean, unless you're running multiple units, you're going to gain some points back. To me, the big win here are the Spider Fang, and not just because I'm a Spider Fang fan, but when you look at like this change combined with the war
Party Ragnarok.
The war party, like you could easily get like 10 Arachnaroks in a list. You could almost get 10 Arachnaroks in a list.
Wild.
And those are pie plates.
Yeah, sure.
And some of those are deep striking. So, I mean, that's a lot of monster meat.
Yeah.
Like, now you wouldn't do that. You would do like a mix of Arachnaroks. Like that Web Spinner Shaman Ragnarok is a double caster. So you're getting a double caster at 270. That has a spell that's doubling mortal wound output for spiders. And who can carry the totem, or no, he doesn't carry the totem. The foot hero does to double to 5 and 6 mortal. So I say all that to say, like, there's some really interesting stuff here that I think may make this playable in a way that it just wasn't before. Now, I'm not going to say it's hyper competitive, but I definitely think that it's playable, and that's a big step up.
Okay.
Very good.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. And I kind of like Scragrot at 210. I could have taken him at 200,
yeah, sure.
but
I agree with both of those points. I will say I think that we're going to end up dangerously close here soon to where Gits becomes untenable as far as just the number of models you have on the board. Like it could easily because the shoot is the stabbas, the squig herd, stuff like that. Like we could end up in territory where we're just spamming these ultra cheap units, and that can sometimes become problematic.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like I agree. Like you're just for some of this, you're just going to go with bodies.
Yep.
And I mean, because you're getting 20 wounds of spiders for 180 points.
Sure. Or 20 wounds of stabbas for 140, or 20 wounds of shooters for 120. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could just, it could end up being in one of those like old, like it used to be with Bone Splitters, where it was just like. They're still a super high wound army, but it was like way out of whack. Where there was a point previous to the New World Clans where they were generating like 230 wound armies, 240 wound armies. You know, it's just models
and
everywhere.
And we are on that trend.
Stuart Iron Gutsman, what's up, Stuart? Says my current list is 250 wounds.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a lot. Okay. Auric War Clans. The Killbow, down 20. Gut Rippers, down 20 to 160. The Killaboss on Nashtooth, down 20. The Wurgog Prophet, up 20. Well deserved. Gobsprak down 20. The Killaboss on Corpse Ripavultra down 20. The Snatchaboss on Sludge Raker Beast down 25. It's not bad. I like that guy, actually. And then Swamp Boss Scumdrek, Derek himself, down 30. The Savage Big Stabas up 20. Correct change. The Savage Boar Boy Maniacs up 10. Fine. Like, I don't, okay. I have no opinion on that. The Wargog and the Savage Big Stabas were correct changes for where this army was.
Those were in the spammy space.
And, yeah, totally. So, like, well, the Prophet is obviously a Prophet. He's a hero, but I understand what you mean. The Big Stabas, yeah. The Snatchaboss on Sludge Raker and Derek going down the points that they did, I think is a very positive change. As are both the Killabosses. I don't think those are bad models. I think the Killaboss on Great Nashtooth, the problem with him is consistently that he's the worst middle hero ground of the Killabosses, because he's functionally doing the same thing as his little brother and his big brother, but he's like the 10 wound version. So he's like the worst wounds a hero can be. I don't know if going to 150 makes him at all interesting. He is the guy with the 3-up save, so he's like the quote-unquote toughest of them. But I like his big brother on the Rip of Vultra a lot better at 220. Like, to me, that's actually still quite a good... I think that's actually a good value for what you get out of him. So,
I have seen a fair number of people using the Killaboss on Nashtooth, even at 170, because of that 3-base save.
Yeah.
He can be a meaningful distraction type piece, pretty durable. You're right. If only he were 9 wounds, that would be perfect.
Yeah, just please subtract a wound, right? Like, I hate 10 wound heroes so much.
I do like him, though. I just in terms of list construction, function, toolbox, as part of a tool set, I think he is interesting. But you're definitely the Vulture is quite nice too, especially 220 now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one that interests me. Gut Rippers are still nothing. Like, Gut Rippers are still at 160 in the current season. Like, if we rotate out of bounty hunters, they could have some value at 160. Like, we might be getting closer to the correct points value for these idiots. At their, like, bravery, whatever. Bravery 6, 5, something like that. 5-up save. Until they run into a giant who then, like, yells at them and rolls like a 9 or a 10 and makes 4 or 5 of them just run away before the combat even starts with a bad monstrous rampage.
I've said definitely prior to this bounty hunter season, when the battle 160 was the right number.
Yep.
Sans bounty hunters, that feels like the right number to me, because you can obviously make these guys very scary in terms of the potential mortal wound output from these things.
Sure, and now you will do that because you won't have to not cast spells anymore, right? So that will actually be happening.
Yeah. Congrats to Mike at Goonhammer. His time has finally come. I'm looking forward to the 4-1-5-0 from Mike very soon. We talked about this army events, and I felt like, I don't know, I thought you guys were a little harsh on your fixing Cruel Boys show about the actual reality of it. Just seemed to me like another army where not enough top players were playing it, and you actually could push good results with.
I mean, if a couple of top players got into it and started dragging up the low results, I'm not sure that's meaningful, right? Like,
that's probably fair. Right. Yeah, that's probably fair.
Right. I mean,
top players can do good with anything.
Well, and they're not playing it because it's not enticing them.
Right.
Like, there's nothing in it that's beckoning them.
Josh A, theoretically, whenever the next General's Handbook comes out, which we know we're in a 6-month season, but we don't, I don't know, December, January, something like that. Who knows? So, okie dokie.
Got a lot of nice tools, Cruel Boys, and it is still a shame.
It's something that piques my interest.
Sure.
Like, I wonder if there might
your
be
sneaky tricks are on a 3+ would do a lot to fix the army. Okay. Additional profiles. Here we go. Kronspine, Incarnate of Gur, up 80 points to 480. We're going to just pause on this bad boy for a moment. I won't read the whole chart. Is this enough? I mean, it's a meaningful change, right? Is this enough? And does this hurt the low-performing armies that were using him as a crutch as much as it hurts the high armies who were just overperforming with him?
So, yes. Is it enough? Yes. I think it could have been a little higher, but I like this point value personally.
Okay.
I
mean, it's a
can't stand
meaningful
this-
change, right?
I can't stand this thing, dude, on first principles.
Sure,
Right.
of course.
On first principles, it's just busted to me. On many levels, what it does to the game, the ecosystem, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. Yeah, no, to me it feels meaningful.
Okay. I think it's a good enough first. Here's my statement. I think it's a good enough first shot across the bow. That's my answer. I don't know if it will be enough, but I think it's a good start. I think that if we probably should change some rules on it as much as anything, but if we're going to do this with just points, this is as good a place as any to start.
Can't we just battle pack it out?
I mean, one only hopes. Yeah, that would be, again, that would be the correct way. Yes, just yeeting this thing into the sun would be correct. Okay.
Hey, you know what could fly it there?
Launch
The
on the
Seraphon.
Soul Seeker. No, okay. There you go, the Seraphon. All right, speaking of other updates, Chronomatic Cogs up 30. Correct. Launch in the Soul Seeker up 20. Still a deal at 50. Still a deal at 50.
Hey,
At
is that
30,
the change we needed?
he was insane. He was insane at 30. At 50, at least we're starting to approximate reasonable points.
I mean, 30 got me to paint him. I was like, yeah, he's gonna show up somewhere.
Purple Sun again at 90. That was a previous change, so that's just carrying that forward. And the Umbral Spell Portal up 10 at 80. So sure, all good changes.
One of my friends runs Inch, and he's like, that ruined all of my lists.
Glad to hear it.
Like the 10-point,
Sure.
the 10-point mirror. He's like, all of my lists are gone.
Perfect.
The Iron Gutsman says Gits are going to take their saved points and invest it right in Kronspine Industries. That's not a bad point. Yeah, you could easily find the 80 points up in this area here. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it brings up the broader point that on average, it's going to be easier for your bottom feeders to find the points than your top.
Sure.
Your top feeders. So. Yeah.
Oh no, you're totally good.
Doc
Matt.
is.
Yeah.
Doc is probably, Doc at this point would probably just pass on it. One would hope. I haven't looked at Doc lists that have been running the Kron Spine and how meaningful is that? I would think it's a fairly meaningful hit. Eddie, you're pretty tight on points with Doc to get the
Doc
right
is already a
tools.
fairly expensive army, so I agree. All right, gentlemen, let's talk FAQs real quick here. Boom, because we've also got some FAQs.
Has anybody ran Kronspine in Flesh Eater Courts?
Yes.
All at Season of War, nailed it. Has been running it for a little while, doing quite well. Multiple 4-1s. Yeah, it's really helping.
I would
It
say I
gives
would
them an
imagine.
ambush unit.
Well, not only does it give them an ambush unit, it broadcasts out the +1 to hit.
Yep.
And the reroll charges, all of that would be really important to them.
Yep. Yeah. I've seen many Flesh Eater Courts players incorporate in. I do think it's a decent add. Okay, let's talk FAQs. We're not going to review all these. I'm just going to review the ones that are pseudo meaningful, I guess, because a lot of these are just clean up in words and stuff. So this will be
30 minutes, Vince.
Quick.
You're on the
We're
time.
going to go quicker than that. Here we go. Okay, Skaven. When using the Knob Bomb artifact to power on a terrain feature, does the terrain feature become impassable? No. Good. Okay, good. Clean that up. So obviously people aren't just stuck on a
They're
thing
not
they
trapped there.
can't move on. Yeah. Fine.
I'll be right back, boys. I'm gonna get a
You're good.
drink.
You're good. In a reinforced unit of Storm Fiends, can I basically mix the 1 and 3 may be armed like this? Answer yes. Good. That's great. That was always the problem. I had always assumed that was the case. But it's good to clarify that. So it's cool. So you don't have to take another useless tunnel digging weapon, basically. And then always 3 claw steps ahead. just bringing the run rule in line with the charge rule, which is a shame because you used to be able to like run when they didn't change it, when they only changed charge, right? So your clan rats and storm vermin units get +2 to run. So you could, when they still allowed it to be modified, you could make 1 unit run, right? Get like an 8-inch run, or sorry, like you roll a 6 +2, so you're getting an 8. And then you could broadcast the 8 to the other rats who would then run 10. Because they could stack their +2 on top of the other +2, which is funny. But nope. Detonated that, so that's fine. I don't care. Good. All fine. Anything we have to say on Skaven? All fine changes. Auric War Clans, we finally got a couple of, like the one we already talked about, which is the Swamp Kala Shaman Potgrot thing. Thing cast, great. The other one is we finally got the item that every logical, sane human being in the world knew this was exactly how it worked. The leaps of logic you had to go through to try to argue into moving 1 unit across the board was so wild to me.
Oh, yeah.
This is like nobody who ever took symbolic logic attempted to do this janky.
Where was this FAQ?
It's in the Auric War Clans on the website.
No, so was it worded in such a way that
up to half of your units may move this amount of space? That's what Tireless Tracker said. It wasn't like you may move X units or X different units. It was up to half.
Yeah.
Which people then somehow ran the logic puzzle of, okay, I have 10 units. Half of them is 5. Now that I have this number 5, I will then flip it and stack it all in one person who will then run 1,000,000 miles up to the other side of the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. So no, you can't do that. Stop it. Please stop.
But can we still select units multiple times to receive the same buff?
Yeah, that isn't gone. Yes, okay. That is still somehow there.
Yeah. Okay.
That should probably also go away, but for the moment, that is still there. It's just this ability never was phrased in such a way where you could reasonably think that's the right way to execute on it, right? Because it wasn't a number. It wasn't like pick D3 units. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay. Maggotkin of Nurgle. Can a unit still remove disease points instead of healing if it is at full health? Yes. Just there was a funny way the wording was sort of done where if you read it, it seemed like if you were at full health, like everybody played this way already.
Yeah.
Right? This is just solving a bit of a language inconsistency. So cool. All right. Whoop. Okay. Caradron Overlords. This one, Tom, I'm going to read these and you have to tell me if they mean anything. Okay?
Okay.
Here we go. If an enemy Caradron Overlord Sky Vessel with a unit garrisoned in it finishes a charge move within 3 inches of a friendly unit, and there are no other enemy units within 3 inches of that friendly unit, could that friendly unit still receive the Unleash Hell command ability to shoot at the charging Sky Vessel or the garrisoned unit? Answer yes.
Yeah, so why this is important is because the condition on Unleash Hell said that like if a unit ended its charge next to you and there's not another unit within 3 inches of you. Right?
So because the garrison unit was there, the argument was, okay, got it. We've automatically gotten 2 people into combat for free, hence we shut off Unleash Hell. Okay.
Right, and so KO boats hypothetically were immune to Unleash Hell and everything in it because the boat would go in and you'd be like, "Oh, you got another unit next to you. You can't unleash that didn't charge."
Beard E, boy, is that beardy. That is steel beardy.
It's just following the code,
I guess. Okay. Question. The Collector command trait allows an additional hero to have an artifact if the general has an artifact. If my subfaction requires the first artifact received to be the one specified in that subfaction's abilities, could I give the additional artifact from collector to my general and the subfaction artifact to the other hero? Answer, no.
Lost 2 hours of my life doing last minute TOing at Vault Wars this year on this stupid question. So
Wow.
have at it, Tom. Do you want to explain this one?
No, you can go ahead and do it because you've articulated it.
I mean, I can't remember the details honestly now, but it's basically
an order of operations.
It's an order of operations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what it does is it forces you to basically have 2 chemists in order to get the thing that you want.
Okay.
Like,
please
like
make a
get
new
the
book for
spell
these
in a
guys,
bottle,
so we
blah,
don't
blah,
have
blah.
any of this nonsense anymore.
Yeah.
New book win.
Yes. And make all the bubble boys good. Like make them the heart of the army.
I'm fine with that. I just want a new book for these guys because I like this previous book is such a abomination of rules design. And it just needs to be like there are few books that I want to see 3.0'd more. The only book I want to see 3.0'd more than KO right now is Khorne.
Is Khorne.
That's like Khorne is the top of my list. I want to see what Khorne looks like in the verisimilitude, world of 3.0 where things are living up to their theme. That's like my number one request. I want to see what that looks like, man. And then KO is next below that because I despise that tome and how it's written. It's just a nightmare.
It was rough.
Okay. Arcanaut Ironclad Flying Transport. Change the final sentence of the second paragraph to models cannot contest objectives while garrisoning a sky vessel. Same thing for the frigate. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Like, why? Why?
Sure. Cause
Like we have single models counting for 32 on an objective.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, why do we still live in this space?
I can't. Well, because you're a shooting
that.
army, and the whole point of the army is to suck at objectives. It would be, if you want my meta answer, that's why. It's because that literally the weakness of the army is meant to be you suck at objectives.
Just charge them. Then they will suck at objectives because there won't be bodies left.
I'm just telling you what I'm sure. Like that's the general design principle of the army: good at killing, bad at objectives. I mean. It is it is an army that is performing right now, I will say. Like they're at the top of the pile, like the top of the safe zone.
Because shooting still good.
Still good, yeah. And then there's a battle tactics that was cleaned up the wording. Didn't change functionally. It's just cleaning up the wording.
I could see that change to KO frigates and ironclads if we had a general universal rule that you cannot contest objectives if you're garrisoned.
Right, but everybody else who just walks in a building near an objective is still contesting.
Or Gloomspite sets up their stupid thing nearby, and they put 20 dudes in the cave, and they're like, "Oh, we got it, boss."
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So, like Gloomspite can still do it. Obviously, it's not as big a deal, but Lumineth still count when they're garrisoned in their shrine, as does the single hero in Khorne when they garrison theirs, or the single hero in Flesh Eater Courts. But obviously, Gloomspite is one of the other big offenders, as is anyone who walks into any building on a table, right? So, but yeah,
weird.
I just don't understand why it's still a thing when we have single models counting for like 20 models.
Sure, I understand. Okay, Blades of Khorne. Can I carry out Spell Eater Curse more than once in the same turn? No. Okay. Sure. And then do I have to spend... This one is so funny to me. Do I have to spend and lose a number of Blood Tithe points to use a reward from the Blood Tithe rewards table or to summon a unit using Summon Demons of Khorne? Answer. Yes.
They're like, nah.
What edge shooting were people attempting here? That they were seriously trying to read the thing that said spend your Blood Tithe currency to get this thing, that they were like, well, then do I actually lose the points if I spend it? Like, the fact that this one had to be clarified makes me weep.
This is the quality of questions.
This makes me weep for humanity, like, as a whole. Like, we're not going to make it. This is John Connor looking at the Terminator and going, "We're not going to make it, are we?" And he's like, "It's in your nature to destroy yourselves," right? Like, this is it. This is the moment where you stare down the apocalypse. This is the end. So here we are. Congratulations, everybody. We got there. Okay. And that's it. That's the changes for Khorne. Everything else is previous changes. So many previous erratas. Okay. Beasts of Chaos. Some cleanup on the Devolve spell. So, fine. Still functioning, basically. Doing the same thing, just...
Okay.
Yeah, it's just bringing it up into the current language structure.
I don't know how the 4+ rally survived this errata.
I couldn't tell you. And then, obviously, Skyfires, Shaman, Enlightened, and Zangors. All of these things got their new profiles, so you get the actual, Brayherd keyword, Beasts of Chaos keyword scrolls that are all in here. And they're the same scrolls, to be clear. It's not like there's any difference. They're just the things we saw in Tzeentch. They're just updated to match with the appropriate keywords, so they can all be used correctly in the Beasts of Chaos army.
Sounds
and great. I think they are hot. So hot right now. These guys are the Hansel. I don't know, whatever. They're good. They're super good.
Joe Cryer, my friend Trav played him. KC Open. He was stacking. He had a way with acolytes to get up to -3 Ren on their shooting.
You just have them all cast their spell on one unit.
Yeah.
Stacking on one. Okay, yeah. It's like, he's always up to nonsense with acolytes. Back in like 2017, 2018, he was doing like 180 shots with Kyric acolytes. Bless him. All right.
Yeah, and they're basically the same points, by the way, too, as what they are in Tzeentch. So, yep, cool, good. Glad they brought those all up to date. Everybody's got their new scrolls. BOC ready for the age of the Dragon Ogre has ended. The age of the Zangor has begun.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Flesh Eater Quartz. The Lore of Madness Spectral Host spell again. I believe it was just the wording was updated to be correct in the proper 3.0 terminology. I don't think there's any other change there.
You said Flesh Eater Quartz?
Yeah. Because it's the same. It's doing the same thing. You make the unit fly if they can already fly. They can run and charge. If it's 10 or more, you can pick 3 different friendly units. I feel like that's exactly the same thing.
I looked at it earlier today. It was word for word the same thing. I don't know. Maybe just a miss on their part.
Who knows? But yep, I mean that's how I remember it functioning, so I'm thinking it's just a wording change. Alrighty, General's Handbook. In the battle lines drawn battle plan, can you remove a unit from the battlefield in order to enter a garrison and set it up again when you leave a garrison? Answer yes. That actually is a relevant answer because, by the rules of what's written in that stupid battle plan that shouldn't exist, you cannot actually go into garrisons. You can't walk in buildings. Obviously, that's nonsense. But, if anybody ever played battle lines drawn, I'd be concerned. But thankfully, no one plays that terrible battle plan. So I guess there we go. And then another good answer that I actually think is super relevant. I like this was certainly how I read it, but I do appreciate the clarification. And that is, do models in Expert Conquerors count as 3 models for the purposes of contesting terrain features? And the answer is yes. Like, that was a needed answer because that actually wasn't... I think it was a pretty easy rules as intended, but it wasn't written there. So,
Absolutely.
Good change.
Yep. A lot of TOs have had to that one over this year, so it's good to get clarity.
Absolutely. Gaze of Gur, we just got the appropriate change. Yes, it works how you think, and it should work. Simplest answer, right? How much is the unit worth? Half that. Great. Cool. Easy. Easy money. It's exactly what we wanted. And then the other changes are just things we've already talked about, like the replace scrolls with the points and the Ragnarok becoming, with War Party becoming battle line. So good changes here. I like that. Good. Not really changes, I should say, is good clarifications. Like these were all pretty common questions that I know TOs were getting served up. So I like when they do stuff like this and just, here's the clear, simple answer. Good. And I like that they all work the way kind of you thought it should. All right.
Go ahead. Well, have you gotten to can a hero in reserve be picked to carry out a heroic action? Have we gotten? I'm not looking at the screen with.
No, I did. That
screen.
was in the core rules. I didn't actually bring up the core rules one, but the answer was no. So.
Yeah, because technically, as far as I could tell, Raw, you were allowed to do that, even though it was weird. Like I looked at it multiple times, never could find anything that said you couldn't. But anyway, it's good to get clarity on that.
It's the same reason why they can't use abilities when they're not on the table.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like they're clearly reaching up to that. You can't use abilities when you're not on the table thing.
Right.
Okay, so here we have like 52 different, and this is in a bunch of all the everywhere where Nagash shows up. This series of answers kind of repeats.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So we have all these Supreme Lord of the Undead abilities. Okay.
Yeah.
Can Nagash use his Supreme Lord of the Undead ability to re-roll one or more dice on a rally or the Death Rattle Skeleton's Legion ability? No. Can he add 1 to the number of slain models returned when you rally or use Death Rattle Skeletons? Yes. Can he add 1 to the number of slain models that are returned to a unit even if the ability used did not successfully return any slain models to the unit? Also yes. And this is actually a big problem. Okay? This will need to be fixed again.
So does that mean that when I rally, I automatically refill all units? Because each die roll is 0, but then it
no, because he adds 1 to the total. It's not 1 each individually. That had already been clarified previously. That's not why it's broken. Okay? It's broken because of something that does trigger individually and triggers on a 4-up. And on a 4-up, you put a guy back. And on a 1 to 3, you don't. It's not in this army. Mr. Punchy Fists himself, Mr. Harvester, okay? Because if Nagash is around with the Harvester, what this now does is fail to roll the 4-up, your skeleton pops back into existence. Roll the 4-up, 2 skeletons pop into existence. You can only gain models. Oops.
It's just turtles all the way down.
Yeah. Oops.
All right, can you read this one again? What was the...
Can Nagash use his Supreme Lord of the Undead ability to add 1 to the number of slain models that are returned to a unit, even if the ability used did not successfully return any slain models to the unit?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And because of the timing sequence on the Harvester, where he checks on every death, that's when it checks, it fires, it resolves, pass, fail, you return the guy.
Yep.
Right? Because each one of those is an individual instance, not like Rally where it's roll a bunch of dice and then X come back. No, it's X plus 1, right?
Yep. Well, it also makes things like Life Swarm more reliable for putting Cav back into units.
Sure.
Because normally you would only, like, on a D3, you'd need to roll 2 or 3 to put a model back. Now
you always get at least 1.
One, possibly 2 when you roll higher.
But the Mortec is clearly, like, we rebroke the Harvester.
The Gothizzar,
Yeah, the Gothizzar Harvester, So, like, that will be FAQ'd out of existence. I cannot doubt that for a heartbeat. Like, because that was already fixed last time this happened when they started stacking, right? Because remember the initial run of them, you could like have 2 Harvesters and they could just sort of infinigen skeletons back, basically. And they already fixed that problem, and now we just oopsie doopsie reinstantiated a worse version of the problem.
Well, I mean, let's say you have Nagash, a Harvester.
No, stop. There is no justification for this. It literally makes it impossible to kill a model.
Well, no, but they have to be near the Harvester, and 3 10s
Stop.
mean that you're full. Your list is done.
Stop. You and I know. No. Stop. This is how people... You know what you sound like to me? Somebody justifying Vanguard Wing. Well, it's only Liberators, and they don't really do a lot of damage. Stop. It is so obvious when certain things are beyond the pale. This is one of them. End. Full stop. Okay, cool. Some abilities such as Invocation of Nagash can either heal or return slain models. If If I use that ability to heal, will Nagash Supreme Lord of the Undead ability still trigger? No. Okay, fine. Yeah, of course. Because it's only when you return slain models. And then a bunch of Mirmorn Banshees stuff because their wacky ability just is so wacky. It's just gonna.
So they just clarified it so that like big AOE burst abilities that are non-targeted, it doesn't trigger anymore.
Yeah, there's 3 clarifications. AOE stuff doesn't trigger it, or well, it will trigger it once.
Non-selected stuff won't. Is what it said.
If an enemy wizard casts a spell that allows them to pick several targets, such as Comic's Call, and they choose multiple targets wholly within 12, can I roll for the spell agency ability once per target unit? No, you roll once, right?
Right.
If I attempt to unbind a spell that does not specifically choose a unit to target, such as a spell with an aura ability, or a spell that causes all units within range to suffer mortal wounds, no. That's the answer to your question.
Right.
So they can't do targetless AoEs, period.
Yes.
And they can't do multi-pick AoEs
like
more
the
than
big
once.
techless boom, right?
Yeah. And then if I use Mirror Banshee spell or ability to dispel an endless spell, do the effects of that endless spell apply before it is dispelled? No. So just clarifying the timing that it's like they got it. They shut it off. Cool.
Yep.
Cruel, now the needed changes for Night Haunt. Cruel Gas Cruciator no longer stacks. Thank you. About time.
Bullshit. Immediately changed all my lists.
Yeah, well, obvious nonsense is obvious nonsense.
Yep.
Okay? Like, thank you. Correct.
I liked 1 damage maw crushers.
I'm sure you did. Dumbest crap ever. So good change. And then the Spirit Host was really just a rules clarification.
Sure.
To make sure that they're working as they were clearly intended. So, all right, that's it. That's all the FAQs, boys. We did it. We got there.
2:00. I'm not asleep.
It's pretty good. All right, folks. It's late here. We're gonna call it a night. I got to go get a few hours of sleep before I get up to go to surgery. But thank you all. Hit like if you would. Both these boys stayed up very late and are working hard to bring a show, so we never miss a Wednesday. They're both awesome. Thank you both for being so flexible. Thank you all for watching when we're had to do all these crazy times over the past couple weeks, and I had to be crazy, ripped up on painkillers and stuff. So thank you all very much. Appreciate everybody still tuning in, still watching every week. Hope you all are having a wonderful day wherever you are. Hit like, hit subscribe, do all those things. If you want to support the channel, there is a Patreon down below. So you can do that. It's focused on your hobby and review and feedback. There's a merch store with cool Warhammer Weekly merch. And don't forget, you can put in your vote for Team Tom or Team Tyler, deciding things the only way that we know how in the United States, with dollars. We vote with our dollars here. But in general, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We really, really appreciate it. Hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. And as always, we'll see you next Wednesday.